Today I'm going to show you how to go from this
Whoa, yeah!
to this
Whoa, yeah!
through the power of sound design. I've been a pro editor for over 20 years, and I'd like to invite you into my edit suite so I can show you every single sound that I use to bring this broadcast commercial to life. We'll listen to the background ambiances, dialogue, specific sound effects, and music. Stick around to the end and I'll reveal the final sound mix. Let's get into it. When I'm working on the sound for a commercial, I like to start with background ambiances. That way my dialogue has a nice bed to sit in. So let's just go one by one and see what I have here. I'm going to solo my first ambiance, and let's check it out. So that's the first bed of ambience I found for this desert camping scene. In fact, the ambience is called Binaural Desert at Dawn. Let's take a look at the next ambience. So that was a nice fire sound. You'll see we have this nice crackling fire through the entire spot. So that really gives a nice feel. And the next bed of ambience I have are cicadas, crickets, which are always great for a night scene, especially an outdoor camping scene. So let's take a listen to those soloed. I have one more sound effect to show you as part of the general ambience, and it's actually a specific sound effect of a wolf howling to set the stage for this desert camping scene. Let's take a listen. For some projects, you might find one bed of ambience that works great for the whole spot, and you only need one audio file. But in general, I find it best to layer multiple ambiances to give a more realistic feel. Now I'm going to show you all the ambience layers together. Check it out. Now it's time to add some dialogue. We have 4 characters in this commercial. We have the human camper, his $5 bill companion, and then we have the guy driving the ATV along with the $10 bill. And obviously, the bills are 3D animated, so we had a couple different options for bringing them to life. For the main bill, the $5 bill, we used a voice actor, so that was recorded in a voice studio and sent to us. But for the vocalizations of the $10 bill, we actually used sound effects from a sound effects library to bring him to life. And the 2 human characters were recorded on set. So that's what we're working with. First, I'm going to solo the $10 bill in the ATV.
Hey!
And now, let me add in the vocalizations of the other guy in the ATV.
Hey! Yeah! Woo! Whoa! Yeah!
And now I'll add in the male camper.
Hey!
Mike seems to be having more fun with his money.
And now I'll add in the dialogue of the $5 bill.
Hey!
Mike seems to be having more fun with his money.
Really? Because you've got your book, and I'm roasting wieners and marshmallows.
Yeah! Woo! Whoa! Yeah!
Yeah, they're probably having more fun. S'more dog?
But there's actually one more piece of dialogue, and that's the voiceover for the end art card. And this was also recorded in a voice actor studio and sent to us. So let me show you that section.
Get your money working with a low-rate RV or power sports loan now at America First.
What seems like a pretty simple broadcast commercial actually has 5 different voices going on that each require specific attention. So we have our nice bed of background ambiances, and we have all of our dialogue organized and edited. Now let's move into specific sound effects. So I'm going to turn off the dialogue and ambiances so you can really hear what's going on, and I'm going to solo the next track, which includes 3 unique sounds. First, the marshmallow catching on fire, then the marshmallow being blown out by the bill, and finally the book closing. The first 2 were from a sound effects library, and the last one of the book closing was actually recorded on set. Usually I would replace that with the sound of a book closing really clean from a sound effects library, but the on-set recording actually turned out really nice. So let's check these out. I really like how the book close gives a nice punctuation to the end of the spot. I'm going to solo our next track, which also includes 3 unique sound effects, all having to do with the ATV. So first we have the ATV sound of wheels on gravel from a sound effects library, and then you're going to hear an ATV revving off screen as it prepares for the jump, and then finally a high revving engine sound to add some intensity to this shot. Let's take a listen. Pretty cool. Now I'm going to solo this next track, which is all about what the ATV is doing at the beginning of the spot. And this took some detailed editing because I wanted to make it sound like the ATV was speeding up to the campers, slowing down as they said hello, and then speeding off. Here it is. This next track has, you guessed it, more ATV sounds. I really wanted to go all out in bringing the ATV to life. So we have more wheels on gravel, and then we have a cartoony whoosh for the jump, and then again, more wheels on gravel. Take a listen. And our next track has another ATV sound. To go along with that cartoony whoosh, I have a ATV jump sound. This next track is more ATV engine sounds to be mixed in. And then we have some wind sounds. Then a sound that really makes it feel like the ATV is landing the jump. Then I have a little sound of the metal bars rattling. And finally, some impact of the ATV on dirt. Now I'm going to solo all the ATV sounds so you can hear them together. This next track is a really fun one. Throughout this campaign where we were dealing with 3D animated dollar bills, I wanted to bring those bills to life with paper sounds. So this last track is all about paper. Let's listen. Subtle, but it's those little details that really bring spots to life. And last but not least, we have some music. If this was actually score for the spot, I probably would have mixed and leveled this in earlier, maybe after the ambiances, but because it was just for the art card, I saved this for the end. So let's listen to the music that plays over the art card. Before we watch all of my sound design together and the final sound mix, I want to talk a little bit about the difference between the roles of sound designer and sound mixer. My role as sound designer on a project is to find all the right sounds to bring a story to life. In my case, I'm always collaborating with a sound mixer on broadcast commercials. So I transfer all the sounds in the form of an AAF file and a QuickTime reference movie to the sound mixer, in this case, David Bewley at Pony Sound, big shout out to him, and he brings it into Pro Tools and performs the final mix. And that includes fine-tuning all of the audio levels, effects like equalization and compression, especially on dialogue, special effects like echoes and reverbs, panning, which involves moving sounds in the stereo field left or right, and then final broadcast leveling, so that my spots pass quality control before they air on television. Now, there is definitely some overlap. As sound designer, I'm obviously doing some pre-mixing, especially when it comes to leveling, because I don't want anything to be so out of whack that it's distracting. And then the sound mixer might replace some of my sounds. Say they have better paper sounds than the ones I found, or a more compelling ATV sound that they want to put in. So there's definitely some overlap and a collaboration between the two roles. And to give you an idea of the difference, I'm going to play the whole spot with my final sound design, and then I'll play it again with the final sound mix that went to broadcast. Here it is.
Hey!
Mike seems to be having more fun with his money.
Really? Because you've got your book, and I'm roasting wieners and marshmallows. Yeah, they're probably having more fun.
Get your money working with a low-rate RV or power sports loan now at America First.
S'more dog?
And now the final mix.
Mike seems to be having more fun with his money.
Really? Because you've got your book, and I'm roasting wieners and marshmallows. Yeah, they're probably having more fun.
Get your money working with a low-rate RV or power sports loan now at America First.
S'more dog?
If you got value out of this video, please subscribe, and you might want to check out my free editing guide, which you can download at the link in the description. And if you enjoyed this sound breakdown, you should definitely watch this video next. Happy editing.